You know, it's always intriguing how there's so many companies that have some sort of a rehash of an old idea that's generations old, and you've got all these, in the words of iRobot, dumbest smart people I know, people who are supposed to be, I don't know, journalists covering the business environment, who don't know basic shit that the average Joe, run-of-the-mill, fucking factory worker knows. So what they do is they're presented a horseshit old idea that's been around for literally centuries, and they're so dumb in their elitist bubble, they're so much a stupid smart person that they haven't seen this shit before. They pump it up to be something different, something new. And so this has a meteoric rise pushed by all these media brown noses or whatever you want to call them. And when the Kool-Aid wears off, it hits the deck like a sack of shit. I am saddened to say that a particular person who I probably can't name due to all these ever-changing fucking terms of service, who seems to, or at least looks like they're a journalist or a business reporter for Bloomberg, is too fucking dumb to understand the concept of subletting regardless of it happening for several hundred years. This person looks to be of Asian descent, this woman. Unfortunately, I'm embarrassed by the fact that she has an Australian accent because she's making the rest of us look dumb. This is on the on WeWork. You might have heard it's a company that had a fantastic rise and a fantastic collapse. So we'll let her take it away with all her brilliance and knowledge, and this is the sort of fucking brains that you need to get into being business journalist and stuff like that.
His landlord was actually showing him another building in Brooklyn when he came up with the idea of sort of subdividing that space, which Miguel McKelvey, his co-founder, who's a trained architect, sort of came up with the plans, and then boom, they were away. They started a couple.
So you're telling me this guy came up with a centuries-old idea of subletting, and he needed a fucking architect co-founder because the architect co-founder come up with the plans to put up a few bloody petitions, which I'd done when I was about 17 years old in a multi-story building working for a builder. So the architect come up with the plans on how to mount a couple of partitions. Well, I can do that myself, and I did before the age of 20. Oh. And he come up with this idea of sort of subdividing. Yeah, it's called subletting. In fact, I personally know someone who makes money doing exactly what's just been stated there. And they've explained to me some of the pitfalls and different things and different expectations and whatnot, but they have come out successfully subletting an entire office floor. And, yeah. But this guy does it, and woo-hoo, bada bing. You know, it's like fucking eureka, we struck gold. But see, what they done was they painted it as being, this is a tech company, because you can use this for office space. So, just like this guy I know, instead of renting a whole floor for yourself, you can just rent an individual office, but you'll still be in a fairly prominent area. This particular floor that this guy I know rents is in a very, very prominent area. But anyway, regardless of the fact that he's literally about 2 minutes walking distance from a major mall, you know, it's more or less backed onto the mall, actually. This guy comes out with it, and he gives it a spin as being, well, it's a tech company because people can use computers in their office, and now we've got these compounded possible tech companies, and everybody went fucking nuts, like the dot-com bubble. Yeah, like the dot-com bubble. But what it was subletting buildings. That was it. That's right, just subletting floors of office buildings. And everyone went ballistic. In fact, it outvalued SpaceX by something like threefold or more. And of course, the Kool-Aid wore off, and everyone said, why are we investing in a place that just sublets? Like, aside from a bit of help getting the initial, you know, down payment and all this sort of stuff and the bond and all that bullshit sorted out when you initially rent a large, you know, area or a large building, what have they got us for? This is just subletting. But see, with the magic of all marketing fluff and bullshit, these dumb, smart people, backed up by these dumb, smart people, journalists, all thought it was a good idea when they managed to get a cow pat and put enough icing on it to convince everyone it was a chocolate cake, and these dumb yuppies fucking believed it. So ultimately, you know, I believe this guy went ahead and, you know, bought a private jet and all this other wank and bullshit, and then, you know, the Kool-Aid wore off, and they didn't really focus on renting and subletting a lot of buildings more than just a loss of direction and boggled by the amount of investment money, and just went off the fucking rails. And yeah, that was the end of that. And then all the yuppies thought, oh, why did I lose my money? Well, because you're a dumb smart person, that's why.